welcome to a little bit of a story time. I have no idea if I ever told you this story. I don't think I have. So I decided to just make this little ASMR video to tell you about how I got scammed, and it was the one and only time in my life that I got scammed. So the story takes place a lot of years ago. I was probably maybe like 13 or 14, 15 tops. And at that time, in my country, in Poland, it was a little bit after the, I don't know which iPhone was on the market, if it was the first one, or maybe it was already like iPhone 4 out there. But I think it was like the first one only, the 2G, so to say, iPhone was premiered. And back then in my country, it was very hard to have an iPhone, not like right now when you can just literally anyone can buy it. Back then it was very hard to buy it, and it was very expensive. So me, as a teenager, I really wanted this cool phone, to show off basically, and all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. So I decided to buy it. And how can a teenager buy an expensive phone? Well, you can ask your mom to buy it for you. That's what I did, and my mom agreed. So I was looking through some websites. One particular website, a very big website here in Poland that we used to buy and sell stuff. Sort of like a Craigslist, I'd say. And I came across an iPhone, and I remember this picture as it was yesterday. And there was this beautiful iPhone 2G in pristine condition, and it was used, but the owner said that everything works great and it's all good. And the price was unusually low. That's the first giveaway. And when something that should be expensive is not expensive, it's kind of a red flag, But at that time, being like 14 years old or something like that, I didn't really pay attention to it, I didn't know about those things. So, I think I talked briefly with the seller. I messaged him, we messaged back and forth, and I decided to buy it. Now, the thing is, you could either buy the thing through the website, or you can, talk with the seller, and he could like get the item out of the website and he could sell it, off the website, basically, you know what I'm talking about, and maybe make it a little bit less expensive. I don't remember all the details that went into it, if I got it less expensive than on the website, so I, got a better deal or something like that. But either way, we talked about it, and I decided to buy it, not on the website, but he would take it down and I would just buy it from him through DMs. That's a second giveaway. Now that I think about it, the red flags. So that's what we did. I was so excited. I sent him the money through the bank account, I think, or maybe not. I think it was like I paid the mailman. Yeah, I think it was like that. So he sent the item, and the mailman came, gave me the package. I had to pay for it, so I paid for it, and I was so excited. And I remember the moment that I got it in my hands. And remember, back then, I paid for like 500 Polish złotych, which is like about, I don't know, 150, 160 bucks, something like that. Back then in Poland, it was hella expensive to buy a phone for that amount of money. And immediately as I got this package in my hand, I noticed that it's very, very light. Like very light. And I got scared. I remember the feeling. I remember everything. I remember holding it, and my life flashed before my eyes because I knew something's not right. Something just doesn't add up here. And you don't gotta be a mathematician to know that things don't end up here. Anyway, I took the package, went into the kitchen. My mom wasn't home. So I opened it and I saw what's inside. And inside was, I remember it clear as the day, a radio, a mini radio that wasn't working, an empty deodorant package, like little bottle, and some old newspapers stuck into it. And oh my god, my heart just sank. Like it sank, and I knew what's about to happen. My mom is going to be furious. I, lost so much money, so much of her money, and I got scammed, which the last part of being scammed just didn't really matter at all. It's the fact that I got, some shit in the package and I just lost money that wasn't mine. And, shit was about to go down. So my mom came home and she was mad, but I don't remember if she was mad at me. I don't think so. She was mad at the guy who, scammed us. And we went to the police. I didn't really think that it's gonna do anything. I mean, after all, I wasn't protected in any way because I bought it off the website and stuff like that. Plus, I don't remember all the details, but I remember that I was kind of scared. It's just that it won't work and maybe I'll be in trouble because of that. We went to the police a couple times, yada yada. I also talked about, I remember that they told me to message the guy and tell him that he should give back my money or I'm gonna go to the police. I remember that I was talking with his friend also. That turned out it was the same guy. They checked, his name in his town and his friend's name in his town and the different signatures, because I think his friend sent me a package also that was nothing inside, something like that. They checked the signatures. They said that it's the same guy. So I'm just being scammed by one guy. And they told me to message him, tell him that I know everything and I was at the police station, stuff like that. Didn't really work. So we ended up suing him. And I remember being so stressful about all that situation. I'm young. I'm a teenager, and I'm involved in some kind of a criminal stuff. It's scary going to the police and being, in court and stuff like that. But maybe I wasn't at the court because the guy was in court in his town. So I didn't have to drive there. I didn't have to see him. I didn't have to be next to him or stuff like that. I was relieved that I didn't have to do it. So I remember after all those things, I still was convinced that it won't work. They're not just gonna, they're not gonna arrest him. They're not gonna charge him with anything and stuff like that. And I'm not getting my money back. And it took, overall, I think it took like 4 or 5 years to resolve. It was a long time. But after some time, I received a letter in the mail. And it turns out that they took him to court, actually. And the guy lost. and he was ordered to pay me back that money. Granted, the inflation kind of, I should have been paid more, but whatever. Yeah, they ordered him to pay, and he also was sentenced with probation. So they actually like took it seriously. I think it's a scam. So of course they took it seriously. But he got, I think, 3 or 5 years probation, something like that. And he was ordered to pay me back, and the judge, the court, sent me a letter and asked me if he paid it back. So I had to write down that he paid it back, sign it, and send it back. That's what I did. So in the end, I did win. I did get my money back, but I didn't get my time back, nor did I get my stress back. How much I stressed about it. It was just, I remember it like it was yesterday. It's a traumatic event. But overall, I'm really happy. I was really happy how it turned out. I was really happy that they charged him. The only thing that was on my mind at the time, after all this happened, is that the guy has my name, my address, and everything. What if he wants to, one day decides to take revenge? He can do that. Who's to say he's not going to do it? I don't know the guy. Maybe he's just a criminal. I mean, he is, but, maybe he just doesn't care and about taking human life. So whatever, my young mind was racing through a lot of anxious thoughts. But it's been a lot of years. He hasn't gotten me. I think, I don't even know if the dude's alive. So in the end, it was worth to pursue the charges, to, all that stress at the police station. I remember talking to the police officer, and I remember that it was yesterday. They gave me the paper with my testimony, I think that's how we say it, of basically with the things that I've said, and they told me to sign it. I read it, and I signed it, but when I handed it back, I noticed that there's also some stuff on the back of the paper, and I was like, oh my god, what did I just sign? What did I say? What if it goes through the court and I said something that I should have corrected and stuff like that? My leg was shaking while I was sitting at the police station, and I was about to vomit there. I was so fed up with everything. It was very traumatic and very stressful time in my life. But like I said, I'm glad that I went through with it, because it probably prevented, a future crime committed by him, scamming someone else, maybe someone who wouldn't have strength or time to fight these cases, so the guy would just be scamming. That's the story of how I got scammed because I wanted an iPhone. So, in the end, I got a different phone and I lost it after a little bit of having it, and my mom was furious. I have no idea where I left it. I mean, I do have some idea where I could have left that phone, but it's a different story. Thank you for listening to this one. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, always fight for what you believe in and for the right cause, guys. Alright, thanks so much. Have a wonderful night. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.